everyone, and welcome to the Festival of Hope. It's wonderful to see all of your faces, and I am so excited and grateful for the opportunity to welcome our guest, Joanne Fink. As you know, she's an author and an artist, a presenter, and she has been actually helped us kick off the Festival of Hope for Rosh Hashanah. Welcome, Joanne. It's so wonderful to have you back.
It is wonderful to be back, and this time I am joining in from Philadelphia, where I'm visiting my parents, and it snowed last night, and this is the first time I think I've seen snow in 25 years. I live in Florida on purpose. I don't like cold, but it's beautiful, and so it's been very special to spend Hanukkah with my family this year. So,
that's a gift for this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be able to do that. And we have, Jenny and I were just talking with Joanne a little bit earlier about how much we've learned about Hanukkah this year. We began with our community video from Shekufe Sussman, who many of you may have seen it. And I'm excited to continue exploring the rituals and the meaning behind Hanukkah, which is, one of the first, for me, as I've said, as growing up with a Christian background, Hanukkah was one of the first Jewish traditions of which I became aware. And then through my adult life have had the opportunity to explore so many of the other beautiful Jewish traditions. But Joanne, can you tell us a little bit about Hanukkah? And I know you've got a lot of things that you can share, so I'll ask questions as I go along, but I'm first going to turn it over to you.
Okay. So Hanukkah, which is often called the Festival of Lights, is really an opportunity to celebrate miracles. And the particular miracle that we are celebrating at Hanukkah is after the temple was destroyed, there was a family called the Maccabees, and they helped to reclaim the temple. And when everyone got back into the temple, in those days, we did not have electric lights or even candles. Light came from oil. And in a synagogue, we have something called a Ner Tamid, the eternal light. And it's a sign of God's presence among the Jewish people. And it's very important that when you have a synagogue, especially a sanctuary, that we have the Ner Tamid lit. And they got back into the synagogue, having won the battle, and there was only enough oil to keep the Ner Tamid lit for one day. And oil was not so plentiful. They sent a runner to the next town, and the miracle of Hanukkah is that the oil lasted for 8 days, and that is why we light 8 candles. And it's a celebration of freedom, it's a celebration of miracles, and it's especially a celebration of light. There's a concept that each of us has a spark of light inside that we are able to shine to light the path for others. It's a chance to illuminate the world with our own talents and beliefs. And there are lots of fun symbols and traditions with Hanukkah. So first of all, I will also share that theologically, Hanukkah in Judaism is not a very important holiday. It's not Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur or Sukkot, or there are holidays that you're not allowed to work during. This isn't one of them. This is considered a really fun holiday. It's also thought of a lot as a children's holiday, but in many families, children are encouraged to have their own Hanukkah, and Michelle and Jenny and I were chatting a bit about the difference between a Hanukkah and a menorah. A menorah is a 7-branched candelabra, and a Hanukkah is a 9-branched candelabra. And this is my travel Hanukkah. Since I'm not home, I have many different ones at home, but I love this because it comes in a box. Those of you who know me know I love rainbow colors. Rainbow is my favorite color, and they're metallic and magnetized, and you can change them around and make different patterns, and it's just a very neat thing. And Judaica.com if you want to know where I got it. And there's lots of different ways of lighting the candles and doing the blessings. And in the video about Hanukkah that I did watch and enjoyed very much, I'm going to not pronounce her name correctly. So Michelle, I'll ask you to tell me how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Shekufe.
Shekufe. Shekufe shared that the first night we say 3 blessings, and on all the other nights we just say 2 blessings, and we will light the candles together and say the blessings. But I also wanted to share a few of the other traditions of Hanukkah, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. So one of the traditions is to play a game called dreidel, and dreidel is a spinning top, and there are 4 letters on the dreidel. A nun that stands for Ness. I'm going the wrong way. A gimel that stands for Gadol. A hey that stands for Haya, and a shin that stands for Sham. Nes Gadol Haya Sham, a great miracle happened there. When you're in Israel, it's Nes Gadol Haya Po, a great miracle happened here. So you can tell the difference between an Israeli dreidel and an American or any other country in the world dreidel, because the letters, you can see these different, that this letter would change if it were in Israel. And you spin this, and if you get the gimel, which looks like this, you get the whole pot. And the pot either consists of real money, or this is called gelt, and they come in little packages. And when I was a child, we got lots of gelt in one package, and now I think we're down to 3 coins in a package for the price. But packages of Hanukkah gelt, and usually everybody gets a package of Hanukkah gelt, and you each put a coin into the center, and you spin the dreidel, and if you get none, you get nothing. And so there's different traditions that I'm sure Google will be happy to educate you in, but that's a fun thing to do at Hanukkah. Another thing that we do is we eat foods that are made in oil, that are fried, because we're commemorating the miracle of having the oil last for 8 days. And one of the most popular things to eat, especially in America, are latkes. And there's lots of different ways to make latkes. Latkes are potato pancakes. And my mother says Trader Joe's has the best latkes. I'm not a potato person myself, but you make them by grating potatoes and adding a little onion and some matzah meal and some seasonings and frying them. And in Israel, they eat sufganiyot, which are donuts. And I don't eat gluten, so I don't eat any of the stuff. I make sweet potatoes and mash them a little bit. But the tradition of eating something that is made with oil is something that almost every Jewish family that I know does at least one night of Hanukkah. And does anyone have any questions?
I just want to say how much I love that Hanukkah is a celebration of miracles, and that we have the opportunity to recognize, even in difficult times like the ones we've been living, the small miracles and represented by light is such a beautiful part of the tradition. I love that. I'm so glad you shared it.
I have an acronym for light, which is love, inspire, give, heal, transform. Because I think when we reach out in love and we inspire by the example of giving from our hearts, we can help heal others, and we also heal ourselves. And that's when transformation occurs. And so Hanukkah for me is about being the light. And you'll see that in the Hanukkah, you're supposed to have all of the candles in a straight line, and there's a taller one, which is called the shamash. And the shamash is not representing a night, it's representing helping. It's the helper candle. Mm-hmm. And when we light the Hanukkah, we use the center candle, which sometimes, I could rearrange this because it's rearrangeable, and I could put my shamash candle all the way at the end. So you'll often see them either with the tall candle on one side or in the middle if you're symmetrical. But you use that one candle to light all the others. And the concept behind this is that, one light loses nothing by illuminating the path for others, and that we should all use the light inside of us to help illuminate the world. So I think I will take a vote. Would you like rainbow colored candles or basically uniform colored candles? It being the last night,
we feel like rainbow colored. It's your favorite.
Good answer. Okay, so I'm going to just have a white one for and pull out. In some families, every child has their own Hanukkah, and they get different boxes of candles because you go through a lot of candles in the course of doing this. And if you want to do blue and purple and there are no more blue and purple candles in your box, it can get really complicated. Meaning, give each child their own set of candles.
That's a pro tip.
I would recommend giving each adult their own set of candles too, come to think about it. Right, okay. And I will just share. This is one of the pieces I did for Hanukkah, and it says, "Be the light." And it's helpful when we light the candles to think about shining our light. Okay, I remember the matches. So we say 2 prayers, and I apologize that I don't have the words to share on screen, but if this is your tradition and you know the blessings, please sing with me. We light the first candle, and I often wind up doing a little assist. And then it's easier to see this when it's not the 8th night, but This is night 1. So on the first night, I would have 1 candle, 2 candles, 3, 4, 5. But we light the candles from the 8th night backwards. So, and traditionally the blessing is sung beforehand, but in the interest of time, I will sing the first blessing and then start lighting the candles and invite you to join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'hadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avoteinu bayamim ha'hem Hazman Hazeh. And we are commanded to look at the light of the Hanukkah candle, not to work, not to let it help us light the room, but just to look at and appreciate the miracle of light. And I'm so glad we opted for rainbow. I'm not going to touch it since I don't want it to go over. And I hope you can see it. I have a friend in Israel, Alden Solovi, who is a wonderful liturgist and poet. And he wrote a meditation for the end of Hanukkah. Tonight is the last night. And I'd like to share it with you, if I may.
Wonderful.
Meditation for the end of Hanukkah. The miracle didn't end after 8 days. The miracle was about hearts. The miracle was about hands, rededicated to the service of God and humanity, rededicated to Torah and mitzvot, rededicated to the soul of the universe. The miracle didn't end after 8 days of consecrated oil ran out. 8 days of consecrated oil burning radiant in holy testimony to God's saving power. The miracles of love and hope still shine luminous in your heart. We are surrounded by light. We are sources of light. We are mirrors of God's light. And so we are called to serve the Most High with prayer and song, with chesed and gemilut chasadim, kindness, with tikkun and tikkun olam, repair of the world, with ahava and ahavat chinam, love. Ahava is love. The miracle is ours now. We will carry it into the world. We will be the light itself, the light of justice, the light of peace. And Alden's website is tobendlight.com if you'd like to read more of his work, which is wonderful. I think I own every book he's ever written. So
that was beautiful, Joanne. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Sue, I love that you were lighting the candles with us as well. And being able to do that in community is such a gift. So Joanne, thank you for leading that and making that possible for all of us. Now, did you tell me that there was something different about each candle? Was there a meaning for the candles that we were going to talk about? Or did I make that up in my brain?
I didn't tell it to you, and I haven't heard it before, so
I did make it up in my brain. That happens. There's crazy things going on in here.
but some people do have different traditions for the different nights. Uh, when my children were small, they would each get a little gift every night and then a big gift on the last night. One night was dedicated to giving to others so that you can set aside the money you would spend on gifts and donate it to a charity. Um, One of the things that I like to do is share Hanukkah, and not just because it's the pandemic, but most of the time I'm not with my family. And so doing Zoom or FaceTime to light candles and share stories. And for those of us who have lost loved ones, to share memories. Uh, there are so many wonderful memories that we have. Hanukkah is a very happy holiday, and there's great joy in remembering the happy times that we shared. And I'd love to hear other people's Hanukkah stories.
Does anyone have a Hanukkah story they would like to share? Just put your hand up if you have anything you'd like to add or share, or a loved one's name you'd like to say. We would welcome that as well. We have a couple more minutes, so I'd like to give us that opportunity for anyone who might want to share. And if we end up without a story, Joanne, I was just also going to ask, when your kids were young, is as Hanukkah, you go through Hanukkah first as a child and then into adulthood, and obviously then share it with your own kids. What is your favorite tradition? Is there a favorite portion of the traditions you have as a family that you look forward to?
I've always been attracted to the concept of light and being a light in the world. And so for me, lighting the Hanukkah, and when we're all home together, we each have our own, and I probably have 10 or 12 Hanukkah in my house. And so we don't have to light the same one every night. And I enjoy lighting candles with friends. So last year, I think I invited a different friend over every night of Hanukkah so that I could share the joy of lighting candles. And I also did it with my children and my parents. And this year, almost every night, we are doing Colorado because my daughter Samantha is in Colorado and my brother and his family are in Portland, Oregon. And my son Jonathan and my parents and I are all in the same place. And that is the miracle of Hanukkah all by itself. So
what a wonderful miracle.
May I speak for a moment?
Yes. Hi, Sarah.
Hi. I have a sister named Marcia who lives in Montreal, and she's homebound all alone. And she's been inspired by Judaism for the past 50 years. And so I'm just felt like saying her name to send her blessings for the end of the Hanukkah season here as it approaches. And thank you for letting me join you today.
Thanks so much.
Good.
I'm so glad you got to say your name. Sue, did you have something? You're muted right now.
Sue, you need to unmute.
You're muted. So yeah, there we go.
I did the lighting of the candles with my cousin who lives in Bethesda. We're both alone. And so we've been lighting the candles together on FaceTime.
I love that. That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
I'm so grateful you got to light them here with us today.
Yes.
All right,
everyone. Hanukkah.
Yes.
Joanne, it is such joy to celebrate Hanukkah with you. Thank you for this bright, I had never seen that Hanukkah before. Awesome.
Love you, Shira Orit. Glad you could come. Shira Orit and I live in the same town, so she's one of the people that I celebrate with in person when I'm in town.
Nice. Well, as we close up today, Joanne, I just want to share that you've been a light for us today. So I feel certain that your presence here with all of us has been a wonderful reflection of the meaning of Hanukkah, not only lighting the candles and illuminating the world, but sharing that light. So thank you so much for being willing to do that with us tonight. And I want to make sure everyone knows two things. One, Joanne has shared with us a really beautiful collection of tips for including your loved one in Hanukkah. So Jenny's put that link in the chat. If you want to take a look there, you'll be able to find it. Thank you, Joanne, for sharing that with us. And secondly, we're going to be super excited to be welcoming Joanne's daughter, Sam, as our Friday night entertainment. So any of you who would like to join us on Friday, we'll be streaming live from Facebook, our Soaring Spirits Facebook page, as well as on the Soaring Spirits website. So we'll be streaming live and sharing Sam's music. She's a very talented artist. Obviously, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, perhaps a different type of talent, but talent nonetheless. And so we're looking very forward to sharing Sam with all of you tomorrow. So join us tomorrow night, 4:30. Jenny, did I forget anything?
I just wanted to remind people about the change in times for next week.
Okay, yep.
So next Thursday's Zoom call will be really also very special, but it will be held at 1 p.m. It will be on Christmas Eve, and we will be welcoming John Ray from England, who's going to sing or guide us in Christmas carols. And then Friday, we are hosting another Zoom call here with Kelly Lynn, who's going to share some comedy with us at, not noon, at 3 p.m. On Christmas Day. So we're going to have another gathering on Christmas Day for anybody who would like to join us. So 1 o'clock next week on our Thursday Zoom call, and 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific. This is all Pacific time on Christmas Day. So
Will you be sending us the codes? Okay.
yes.
They'll
Yep.
come by email as well. So just to give you all a heads up of what our plans are for timing. All right, everyone. Joanne, could you tell us what is the proper greeting or saying goodbye for Hanukkah? How do we wish people a happy?
Shalom.
In English, Happy Hanukkah, and in Hebrew, you would say Hag Uri Sameach, Happy Holiday of Light.
Beautiful.
So
Thank you very much. Happy Hanukkah to all of you. My pronunciation would be horrible, so I'm going to just go with the English version. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Joanne, wishing you lots of love, safe travels as you go to your family. What a lovely time to have you with us. Thank you all so much for joining us. Be well and take good care.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everyone.
holiday.
Bye.
Happy Hanukkah.